Early break with Sip and Shake.
So Matt Davis in the studio, president of the 1890 Initiative, Nebraska's NIL operation.
We have some big things that we're going to announce, I think, in the next, few weeks, few months for sure. So I think 1890 and the trajectory for our company is really good. I think we have the ability to have a top, 5 collective in the country. I think we're trending that way.
Early break with Sip and Shake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's Christmas in July at Pillar Restaurant Group when you purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $15 bonus card. One gift card for all of our locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, the Butchery and Venue at Home, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Our Christmas in July gift card special is available at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations or online at prgnebraska.com. $15 bonus card when you purchase a $100.
A lot of businesses say that they're fan tough situations, and a lot of business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will all their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. The Nebraska soccer team wants to see you this Hibner Stadium for their 2020 season. Tickets are on sale now. Reserve your spot to cheer on the Huskers as they take on some of the best teams in the country. Opponents include Missouri, Wisconsin, St. Louis, and more. To buy tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. They have a full season of fun set for this fall. For promotional information, visit huskers.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to Assault Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Assault Dogs. Call 404-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from Tom and Nancy Oz and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and The Ticket FM.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facility. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
It's Christmas in July at Pillar Restaurant Group when you purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $15 bonus card. One gift card for all of our locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, the Butchery and Venue at Home, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Our Christmas in July gift card special is available at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations or online at prgnebraska.com. That's prgnebraska.com to get a $15 bonus card when you purchase a $100 gift card.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Claret.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in the Monday. This is Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hope the weekend was swell. It's Nick Sainert. No Rico this week as he is on vacation. So now we bring in a guy that was on vacation last week, Austin Norman. What's up, Austin?
Not much. Straight trade. Me for Rico. Rico for me.
Yeah, similar
trade deadline.
Talking about trade, we got plenty of to talk about this week. MLB trade deadline is tomorrow, and the Cubs are waiting until the quote 11th hour, according to Jed Hoyer, to decide if they want to sell or buy or stay still. They are sitting at 4 games out of first place in the division and 2.5 games out of the NL wild card, firmly in a position to make a jump. Firmly.
But is it worth it?
Absolutely. You have a chance.
Okay.
In my eyes, if you have a chance to make the playoffs, anything can happen in October. If you have a chance to make the playoffs, you go for it. Maybe not to the Angels. The Angels, I don't know if I would be doing as much as they are.
I think the Angels are in a better spot than the Cubs.
Okay.
Because I think the Angels are more desperate because they have to keep Shohei. That's why they're doing this. They're trying to keep Shohei. Where I worry with the Cubs is that Stroman and Belly are expiring and they're not exactly young. So unless you're going to extend them, I would almost do what the Orioles did, where they were in position to make a run last year.
Yeah.
And they shipped Trey Mancini to Houston.
Well, I'll be honest. Another reason why I think I don't want the Cubs to trade or just sell. They can make one deal. If they were to get rid of Stroman, it's like, okay, I'd much rather them get rid of, move on from Stroman. I don't want to use the word get rid of. Move on from Stroman. That's fine. As I think they should extend Cody Bellinger because although the guy is 29 years old, he has shown a kind of a rejuvenation in his career.
You can get 3-4 years out of him.
Exactly. And so you also re-signed Ian Happ to a 3-year deal in that last year in a time where you were curious. There was question marks of whether or not they were going to deal him and Wilson Contreras. They dealt neither. But you've also shown the basic incompetency to just make a trade at all and have it pan out at the deadline. So that's another reason why I think I'm there. Anyway, I did attend a Royals game over the weekend. It was a great time. After the game, there was a Jake Owen concert who was really good. I'm not going to lie. Jake Owen I was a little concerned at the start just because it's a concert after a baseball game. You have to wait the awkward 35 to 40 minutes in between for them to set up everything. And it's like, all right, is this really going to be good? How long is Jake Owen going to perform? It was awesome. Well worth it. Saw a good old friend, Nate Brennan, and hung out with them for the weekend. It was a great time. So anyway.
Most importantly, you saw the Royals' first 3-game win streak of the season.
Yeah. And they had the season high 18 hits on the game that I went to. So it was a lot of fun over the weekend. Great time down in Kansas City. But let's talk Husker football because it is the first day of fall camp. Don't want to bury the lead here. We'll have plenty of time for MLB trade deadline stuff tomorrow. But before we do that, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951. All right, so we do have some stuff from Matt Rule as he spoke to the media today. And I want to start things off here by talking about Bob Wager really quickly because it kind of came out of nowhere, I think. A guy that has been here, obviously they brought him up from a high school bet down in Texas. Bob Wager, this is. They bring up Bob Wager from a high school in Texas. They promote him, basically give him a heck of a jump to Nebraska, right? And he's been here. He was here for 210 days as a tight ends coach at the University of Nebraska. And then it's announced on Friday night that he is resigning because of a citation that he was given or issued on Wednesday. Well, some details of the police report have been made public, and that's what I think context is important here to talk about the seriousness of this and maybe why it called for a resignation. So this happened right outside, I believe, if my directions are accurate. happened right outside Arena Drive.
Mhm.
And so there's multiple things listed here. For the biggest one is a DUI under 0.15.
I thought it was over.
Or excuse me,
Yeah,
over greater.
over,
Excuse me,
yes.
yes, over 0.15 and above. Obviously 0.08 is the legal limit, so you could twice the
Do
legal
some
limit.
math to get 2
Yeah,
times.
yeah, exactly, twice the legal limit. There's also a careless driving on this police report. There's a refusal of a chemical test in the first offense, refusal of a preliminary test, and possession and consumption of an open alcohol container in the vehicle. So that is those are the 5 things listed on the police report for Bob Wager. And the address was on Arena Drive at Q Street, which is near Pinnacle Bank Arena. So that then caused for Bob Wager to make this statement over the weekend, as long as I can. Here it is. To Coach Rule and Athletic Director Trev Alberts, it is with great remorse that I resign from my position as assistant football coach at the University of Nebraska. Earlier this week, I received a citation for a driving offense that I regret immensely. I am grateful for the opportunity extended to me and I am sincerely sorry for any negativity my poor decision has brought to my family, our team, our staff, and all those that I have disappointed. Respectfully, Bob Wager. Now, here is what Matt Rule had to say about Bob Wager and his decision to resign just a little while ago.
Yeah, as you guys all know, unfortunately, Bob Wager resigned earlier this week. So I'm really grateful for him for the time he spent here. Unfortunate situation. I know he took responsibility for it, and I appreciate him for doing that. Not a lot of men would have handled it the way he did. I don't judge people by their tough moments or worst moments. I always judge them how they respond. I really appreciate him, and I'm thankful for him. I mean, it was a short time, but he brought some recruits here. He brought some of his kids here, so I appreciate him and wish him and his family the best. He's a great coach. I know he'll do great things.
So once again, Bob Wager obviously no longer with Husker football, and in response, they have elevated Josh Martin to the full-time position of tight ends coach. With the responsibility of coaching Husker tight ends. Martin has 7 years of coaching experience at the Football Bowl subdivision level, coaching tight ends at both SMU and Arizona State. He joined this year's staff as a special teams analyst, so he was not previously on the field, but he is now going to be on the field, which I would also add allows him to work with Ed Foley as part of a special teams coach.
Josh Martin is an interesting addition in the offseason that went under the radar for me, paying dividends now in a wildly unfortunate way. But he was the special teams coordinator down at SMU, along with coaching tight ends. And a couple of the tight ends that he coached down there, Grant Calcaterra, who transferred with Tanner Mordecai from Oklahoma to SMU, got drafted in 2022. And also my beloved, maybe not for very much longer, Indianapolis Colts selected Kylan Granson, who has the SMU receiving record, touchdown reception record for a tight end. So he's worked with a couple really good ones.
But I think also, I mean, just one thing that people might not realize is that it also is an under the radar move, right? Like as you alluded to, Austin, and I agree with you on that. But the ability to now, if he's not working specifically with tight ends in a given moment, then he's going to be over with Ed Foley, and it's not just film study now. It is working with the players on the field. So you're trying to, I don't want it to sound like we're grasping at straws here, because I think this actually is somewhat of a positive outcome of a disappointing situation. Matt Rule was, understandably so, asked about Josh Martin earlier today.
Yeah, when we first hired Josh, I remember one of the analytics companies, sending me, signing like, hey, great hire, and all the things he had done. And we've just been nothing but impressed with Josh since then. We've had Christian Ellsworth in that room, and Christian's a really talented young coach. So it's, kind of been a blessing to have him in there. But, Josh has done it. He's done it 2 places. He's had guys go on to the NFL. And, I went out and watched his Indy today. with the young guys, and you could tell he's been coaching a long time. So our whole plan and kind of building the staff a little differently than maybe it's been done here before was having a bunch of guys waiting in the wings. So as guys have opportunities and move on, or unfortunately in a situation like this, we have guys here. We don't have to go out and, hire someone new. We can go out and hire guys within the organization that know our systems and understand our way of life.
Which once again, that's kind of like part of it to where I think part of it is that with all the former players on staff, you hope that continuity is always going to be there.
Right. Continuity is huge. But the other thing that I think is overlooked sometimes is think about how much turnover there's been from, say, John Cook's staff, in the last 5 years, or Nick Saban's rotating door at offensive coordinator. Having good coaches waiting in the wings is huge because you can hire at this point still as many analysts as you want. You still get your 10 on-field coaches, but there's no limit to analysts. I'm not saying Nebraska needs to, go get every single football coach on the planet just in case, some of them are good. Mm-hmm. But the more guys you can have that are willing to, come on for a year or two as an analyst, there's so much turnover in the coaching business that the more coaches you have in your building that you trust that have any experience, they can step up into, a void that's left, whether it's for, promotion, someone, goes from a position coach to a coordinator. Yep. They want to, move back home closer to family. Something like what happened with Wager happens, retirement happens. The more good coaches you have behind the scenes that are in your building, the easier it is to fill that void. They're already there. They already know the guys. They already know the scheme. And even if the fans might not, know the name, and it might still feel like, oh, taking a risk. I've never heard of this guy before. Who are you going to go get? Promoting from within, that's not necessarily always the right way to go, but especially in a situation like this, you weren't going to go out and hire a different coach, but you had an experienced guy on staff who's done good work at, the FBS level before and a solid program at SMU. To just have him there ready to step up, that's a luxury. And I think that's something that Nebraska might be able to, exploit moving forward is hire a lot of good analysts.
Well, I will say, I think it would be wrong of us to just sit here and expect that Josh Martin's going to be the guy moving forward for a substantial amount of time. And Matt Rule was asked about that today. Is there a plan in the back of his mind to say, okay, in a couple months, we are going to hire a designated designated tight ends guy? And Matt Rule answered that question here.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We don't want to move too quickly. I don't want to. I always say hurry up and wait. I don't want to rush. But Ed's been doing this a long time, and now he actually has Josh now helping him on the field. So it's a little bit of a blessing in terms of special teams wise. Whereas Josh before couldn't talk, now he's able to out there and coaching the punt team with Ed. So, but we'll probably at some point, whether someone internally, we'll probably hire somebody.
So there it is. Whether it's Josh Martin full time, which he is now, but for the foreseeable future, permanently, maybe that's a better way to say it. Or Matt Rule also didn't rule out. That's going to take a while to get used to. Matt Rule didn't rule out the idea that, hey, we hire somebody soon, like mid-season. Now you wonder about what type of quality of a coach that is available in the middle of the year. You wonder about the continuity of your roster, because if Nebraska is figuring out a way to make this tight ends room work, which I think they're going to need to have an effective pass game, as we've said every single year, especially with the Joshua Fleeks news. I think just because it takes away a body in the pass catching room, you don't want to have to worry about trying to conform to a new coach in the middle of the year or early on in the year, or even if it's in the next 5-6 weeks, and then boom, Josh Martin gets demoted to an analyst. He can't talk to him now on the practice field. There's a lot of changes that go on right there.
In a year that doesn't need that type of change.
Nope.
Right? If this was a staff that had been at Nebraska for 5-6 years, this happened, then okay, maybe there's enough track record. Maybe there's enough continuity everywhere else in the building.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think the simplest answer is the best answer. In fact, I think most times it is. So for me, the simplest answer is trust a guy that's put in work, coaching tight ends before, that can help you out, like you said, in another area with special teams as well. There's no reason to throw another variable into the mix. I get it. The tight end room is important with the names you have there. We'll see if Eric Gilbert, gets his waiver in place. We'll see what Thomas Fidone looks like. It's an important room with some talented pieces there. So, a guy like Bob Wager seems like he did a good job connecting with him while he was here. Got some of those under the radar recruits that he brought from Arlington Martin, but throwing another variable in there to a room that has enough on its plate. Like, there's plenty on Eric Gilbert's mind. There's plenty on Thomas Fidone's mind. And Nate Borgicher is still working his way up from being a walk-on to tight end 1 right now. There's plenty on his mind. Don't introduce a whole nother new coach. I'm sure they've at least talked to Josh Martin.
Exactly. And they're on the same page with that. And that's whether it's replacing an analyst and filling in somebody new as an analyst, which is absolutely a possibility. If you can, and there's a need for it, absolutely. It's much easier to introduce an analyst, on an off the field position later into the season and closer to the start of the year. Okay. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today. Plenty of thoughts. It's our first big news day, right? There were rumblings of everything that maybe people heard the rumblings of some things over the weekend. Turns out that maybe some of the rumblings were not as serious as they seemed at the start. Whatever it may be, there's some news. We'll talk about that when we come back. Miles Farmer, Joshua Fleeks, Jacob Hood, Brody Tagaloa, just some of the names that Matt Rule mentioned specifically. We'll kind of give our thoughts on those when we return. We'll also talk about freshman playing time as you look at the wide receiver room, you look at the offensive line room, you look at defensive backs, specifically cornerbacks, and there are more than 5 true freshmen in each of those rooms. How much time are they getting on each practice and every single day? Guys are staying in the dorm rooms. We'll dive into all that and more when we return. You're listening to the Happy Hour, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more coming up next on a Monday on The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V.
Is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands, wood, and H4.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store. Or now open at Superior Lincoln, GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just medical care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
I heard you and Jack had a disagreement.
Yeah, he says I keep things from him.
What are you going to do?
He loves the Nebraska Lottery's Powerball First Millionaire of the Year promotion. So I'll buy a Powerball with Power Play and Double Play ticket before August 14th, and I could be one of 15 winners of $1,000. I'll also be entered for a chance to win a trip to New York City for New Year's Eve and a chance at $1 million.
$1,000? That should make him happy.
Depends.
On what?
If I decide to tell him I won.
Powerball top prize odds, 1 in 292 million.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers, got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for Life top prize odds 1 in 30 million.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
The Nebraska soccer team wants to see you this fall at Hibner Stadium for their 2023 season. Season tickets are on sale now. Reserve your spot to cheer on the Huskers as they take on some of the best teams in the Big Ten and around the country. Opponents include Missouri, Wisconsin, St. Louis, and more. To buy tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. They have a full season of fun set for this fall. For promotional information, visit huskers.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Slow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. It's glow time. See Club for details.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
It's Christmas in July at Pillar Restaurant Group when you purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $15 bonus card. One gift card for all of our locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, the Butchery and Venue at Home, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Our Christmas in July gift card special is available at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations or online at prgnebraska.com. That's prgnebraska.com to get a $15 bonus card when you purchase a $100 gift card.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, showers some likely this morning. We'll see partly sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 84. Tonight, there's a chance of storms late. Otherwise, partly sunny skies expected with a low of around 70. And tomorrow, we'll see another chance of storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and a high of around 88. Meteorologist Kyle Clark for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Miles Farmer. Miles was summer by us, just for simple things, nothing major, just sort of some of our standards, and was not a member of the 120. So we'll see how that all plays out.
So there's Matt Rule on Nebraska fifth-year safety Miles Farmer, as he is not a member of the 120 man roster, as he was suspended in the summer by Nebraska for little things, according to Matt Rule, the standards, such as, if you will. which is something that, I mean, Bach and I talked about last hour, is something that you can take pride in if you're a Husker fan, because that proves and illustrates that there is a standard being set and that they're being held accountable to that standard. You remember, obviously, oh my gosh, why can't I think of Grant's name?
Anthony Grant.
I kept wanting to say AJ, and I knew that was incorrect. Anthony Grant's suspension back in spring ball. He was held out of spring ball for a while because of not holding him. Basically they were holding the standard against him. And now another example here with a guy that had 73 tackles in 2022 being suspended and his future unknown because of the standard.
Fascinating spot with Miles Farmer, who moved from safety, was still working at safety, but was in competition for the rover position. So it's not like he had a job guarantee. Not like he was walking in the door as a starting safety. So I would have thought Miles Farmer would have walked into spring ball and summer camp with a big chip on his shoulder, especially with a job to win, right? Yeah. Like he's been that young guy for a couple of years, fighting uphill to get on the field. When you look at the guys, though, that they are, holding accountable for the standards, I like that it's sending a message, right? Miles Farmer, a guy that was going to play in some role this year. Anthony Grant, who's still, I think, the likely starter at running back. Mm-hmm. Having a standard and setting it down year one is good, especially if it's just little stuff like be on time, right? That was a big thing that came up. Meetings don't start at 8:04. They start at 8 o'clock. I've never been, a collegiate student athlete. I don't know what the schedule is like, but if 100 other guys can get to the meeting on time, why can't you, even though you were a starter, right? It's a little thing like that the consistency in how you meet with players, I think, goes a long way through the rest of the team. Having a standard of conduct and behavior is good, especially when it comes to, is your locker tight? That's a little thing. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but maybe it does. Being on time for meetings. What else do you have to do?
Well, and that kind of works into this conversation here. Matt Rule was asked about the dorms, right? Because we know that they're staying in Selleck, and which is, maybe 250 yards away from East Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's walking distance. That's the main point. I want to tie this all into basically your point right there of what else do you have to do at this point, right? There's classes are not occurring. Classes are not going on. I think it is important. Miles Farmer received his degree. He has a degree, got a Bachelor of Journalism.
J School.
Shout out to the J School in May of 2023. So the guy's graduated with a bachelor's. So take, use that for what you will. He's a nice, he is a good dude. I've gotten along with him multiple years and through multiple conversations with Miles Farmer. Now, thoughts on the dorm. Here's Matt Rule on just kind of the overarching reason. Once again, kind of explaining why, and then we'll play another one of how many people are staying there, and it's all going to kind of come full circle onto what Austin's point was just a few moments ago.
Oh, I don't have a room. No one wants a room with me. I'll be honest. First of all, I'll say this: the dorms are really nice. Okay, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of a cot. No, when they had air conditioning, I was like, this doesn't count. But credit to University Housing, it's really a pretty place. And I'll just say I really appreciate, and I really mean this, the housing people, because they've bent over backwards to help us. And I love it. Now, I'll say I'm cheating, okay? I have married housing over there, or the RA's room. So I have a little bit nicer room than some of them I saw on social media yesterday. So I feel a little bit bad, but not that bad. But yeah, it was really nice. It was so much fun this morning to kind of wake up and just walk over there and walk through East Stadium and come right to work, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's that. I guess when you're getting paid $9 million on average a year, you get to be in an RA's room for a couple of weeks. And there was more just details on the dorms and who's staying where and all that. Here's Matt Rule.
Well, so even some guys that are some guys are not in the 120, like Buford and Maycheck and those guys, but they're here rehabbing. So we probably have 125 players, maybe 124 players. Our entire strength staff, whatever that is, eight, because including turns, and then all the coaches except I told our two coaches over 60 they did not have to stay, Ron Brown and Coach McGarry. They might be staying in there, I don't know, but I told them they didn't have to. And then a couple trainers and an ops person. So we probably have probably have 160 people in that dorm.
Okay, so here's to go off of Austin's point just a few moments ago again. One thing that the dorms do, and I hate to like make the dorm such a big deal, but it's just something different, right? It takes away any potential for excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there's no, hey, sorry, coach, traffic was backed up. Hey, sorry, coach.
My roommate didn't wake me up.
Yeah. My power went out. Right. Because if in a dorm, if your power goes out, everybody's power goes out. So, or at least multiple guys' power goes out.
Yeah.
And so there's no excuse to not be there on time, which is early, right? There's no excuse not to mentally be prepared, to not be in a football mindset. There's no excuse because you are around all of your other guys that are doing the exact same thing as you, and coaches as well. There's a level of accountability that's just automatically laid out with, and this is nonverbal accountability basically, because guess what? If you're doing something you're not supposed to do, there are going to be, as he just said, 125 other players that are seeing it. On top of that, coaches, on top of that, interns, on top of that, assistants.
That's where, to your point about the type of dude Miles Farmer is, good guy. With that just built-in accountability in the dorms, it makes me wonder if this is either the first time in a long time Miles Farmer, I'm just not, he's the only one, right? It's just the example that's coming up right now. If, guys on the team aren't used to that level of accountability, so they're getting back used to it.
Yeah.
Right. So that they hadn't had a standard like that before. It's not, behavioral. It's just they've been able to get away with doing less for so long that when the standard is raised up to that baseline, they just have to readjust to it, which you wouldn't think would take a long time, but maybe it takes some guys longer than others. And you just hope that he's still taking football seriously. He just has to relearn standards, right? Because he seems like a dedicated guy. He's put in the time. He's worked his way up the depth chart. He's made plays on the field.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah.
It looks like it matters to him. I don't want to call that into question, but this is where, okay, prove it, right? Just show up to meetings on time. It's a little thing that goes a long way.
Well, and the way that Matt Rule's made it sound, I don't know if I agree. There's a lot of people on the text line texting things. Miles Farmer isn't good. Miles Farmer was not good enough to play. I don't agree with that. He was second on your team in tackles last year. And once again, this is not necessarily just an on the field type of discussion. If you want to talk about on the field, it's a guy that had 73 tackles in 2022, 5 pass deflections, and once again was second on the team, but in tackles. And as Austin just said, built his way up. He played in one fewer game last year and had 43 more tackles in 2022 than he did in 2021. He's significantly grown these last few years into a capable starting player on a Division I football team. And when we talk, I think Austin said it perfectly, and this is exactly where I wanted to go with it. So I'm glad that you went here, because unfortunately, you look at the last 5 years, all for that Miles Farmer's been here, and you went 16-31, right? The level of accountability, we know we don't even have to sit here and be like, yeah, maybe it wasn't there. You don't have to do that.
We can tell it wasn't.
We know darn well it wasn't there. There was no accountability. There was zero standard. You can have a verbal standard, but now here's the nonverbal standard being shown with Matt Rule. Is it going to provide, 7 more wins for Nebraska? Who knows? But at least you're starting to see something. And as we started out the show, Anthony Grant and Miles Farmer are two. Anthony Grant, kudos to him, because you'll remember Matt Rule said the same exact things. Hey, AG's just got some little things he's got to tighten up. The ball's in his court. We're hoping that he can figure it out. He ends up figuring it out. He's back with the team a week later. We're all good to go. Same thing today. Matt Rule said the ball is in Miles' court. I respect the crap out of him as a man. I hope he's part of us going forward. This is not Matt Rule's decision whether or not Miles Farmer wants to be a part of this team. Miles Farmer, and whoever for that matter, has to want and put the time, effort, dedication, work ethic into being a part of this team.
That to me is key. Give them ownership of their careers, right? Because think about Matt Rule coming from the NFL. he's not holding his hands, right? We talk about him as this developmental coach that finds under the radar guys. That's true. He goes and finds them, but it's up to those guys once they get to campus to put in the work, reward that faith, right? Matt Rule didn't choose the vast majority of this team, but he's their coach now. They're his players now. So I think what he's doing and putting the ball in their court, like you're saying, is preparing them like, hey, we see talent in you, right? Anthony Grant, we think you can play a role at the next level. Miles Farmer, you have the build to be able to do it. Let's tighten up your skills. Let's see if we can get you ready because you have the physical abilities to make a difference for this football team and maybe for a career. But you have to want it. You have to work with us, help you sort of thing. And to that point, neither one of those guys, performed at an all Big Ten level last year. We get that, right? Very few, if any, players at Nebraska did. But who do you trust more? Anthony Grant or Gabe Ervin coming off a knee injury? Anthony Grant or Ramir Johnson, who was just buried last year? Who do you trust more, Miles Farmer or Deshaun Singleton, who I still think has a good future, but didn't do a lot last year as a JUCO transfer? Do you trust Miles Farmer, who's been on the field, or an Omar Brown moving back to safety sort of thing, right? This team is young enough as it is. 10 guys listed as seniors on the entire roster? Miles Farmer is one of them. I get it. Miles Farmer isn't or hasn't played like, a superstar college football player yet. He raises the floor, right? He's a good enough player that you want him on the field, especially if it's for such a simple reason as show up to meetings on time.
I just also think, one quick thing before we go to break here and round out Monday's show. Let's think about this also. At least this is a subject you deal with this on July 31st so that you don't have to deal with it. So that you don't have to deal with it on September 15th. Right. You deal with this. You don't let things slide in April, May, June, July. So that way there is no excuse and there's no way that anybody thinks, oh, maybe I can get away with this in the middle of the year.
It's practice how you play, but off the field.
Yeah, bingo. You're absolutely right. So I just think, you can, not that we're trying to spin it, right? But at the end of the day, think of it that way, that there's suspensions and there's guys being held out and there's guys being sent home for being overweight. All of those things are under this umbrella standard of we expect to be, Matt Rule always used the word elite. So we expect that both on and off the field. And if you're lacking in any category, then we're going to call you out on it. We're going to hold you accountable on it. And as Bach alluded to last hour, even when Matt Rule was talking to us last week at Big Ten Media Days, DP and the guys in Indianapolis, it was the whole, listen, I got to learn that every single time that I make a suspension, that I announce Miles Farmer's on suspension, I announce Anthony Grant's not with the team, right? It gets blown out of proportion. And it does. But if you truly get down to the nitty gritty part of it, you can see, all right, maybe he's dealing with this and maybe holding them even more to a strict standard because he's got to change them so much, right? Because it's such a culture shock for some of those guys that are within the program. Garbologist says, thank you for not nerding out on baseball today. Oh, don't worry.
Trade deadline's tomorrow.
Yeah, trade deadline's tomorrow. And if the Cubs decide to sell Garbologist, you will know it.
Or I can give you a Royals rant.
There's going to be Royals rant. It's going to be Austin and I for a good chunk of the week here on the happy hour. So as Rico's on vacation, we're getting close to football season because all of our guys are taking vacations, getting some time off before the football season happens. And then it's like football, basketball, baseball, bang, bang, bong. So, we're getting close to football season as the first day of fall camp has already arrived. So once again, you're listening to Happy Hour, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line. Somebody said on the text line earlier, curious to know what you guys think about the tight end coach's resignation. Do we have a replacement? Will it hurt recruiting in Texas? That's another part of it that we did not mention, is that Bob Wager did bring, and some of Bob Wager's players are currently on the roster, one of those being Ishmael Smith-Flores, who's kind of a hybrid wide receiver, tight end type of guy. But in response to that, we did talk about in the first segment. If you missed any of it, you can go back onto the podcast page at theticketfm.com. You can go on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and just kind of rewind to that first segment. The replacement, though, for right now is Josh Martin, who was a special teams analyst, has coached tight ends at SMU most recently and Arizona State.
Yes, Arizona State, then SMU.
Yes, Arizona State, then SMU. So a guy that's been experienced in the tight end room and also helps out special teams as he's able to be on there coaching now on the field, because as Husker fans know, you can't have an analyst on the field coaching guys. And Nebraska fans know that because that's what they got in a little bit of trouble with just a few years ago. So there's the update. Good show so far here on the first day of fall camp. We're running a little bit behind, so we'll quickly get to break. We'll close out Monday's show coming up next on The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you working in or looking to the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 205 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices, offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This has been inspiring opportunities for disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, slow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. It's glow time. See Club for details.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne, how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives, and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock on 97 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sunday. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water, faucet, fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select to inquire at 402-560-6197.
You deserve the best. With the Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.9% APR, and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM First, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Close your eyes, shut and punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, just a couple things to somewhat button up here to end the show. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman, shout out to Austin for filling in for Rico. There'll be a lot of us this week as Rico is on vacation. Okay, a couple just little housekeeping things, news and notes from Matt Rule. If you are just now joining us, obviously Miles Farmer suspended by the team for right now, not part of 120. Some other guys that are currently going just through some stuff. Here's Matt Rule on Brody Tagaloa, and what he had to say on Brody.
Brody Tagaloa. Unfortunately, Brody was in a traffic incident, a car accident, a single car accident, maybe about a couple weeks ago. He's home in California with his family, recuperating. I FaceTimed him last night, and so he's had a cut to his face, had to have surgery on his knee. We expect him to miss the year, unfortunately. Brody was coming along great, but he's got a bright future, and good things will happen for Brody. So he's with us. He's just home with his family, recuperating post the accident.
So there is Matt Rule's update on Brody Tagaloa, who's going to be out for the year, according to Husker head coach Matt Rule. Another guy that's going through some stuff, Georgia offensive line transfer, Jacob Hood.
Jacob Hood, Jacob's just dealing with some chronic ankle stuff. So, he's kind of a little bit more in just sort of a rehab mode right now. That's why I wasn't there last night. He was meeting with the doctor.
And then go ahead, Austin.
I don't like chronic.
That's what I said.
Never liked that word.
That's actually what I said. I said that same exact thing in the last hour with Bach. I said I wouldn't be too concerned about it if there was not the word chronic in there, because usually I'm no doctor, obviously, but that means it's not going to go away easily, if ever, if at all. So that's for Jacob Hood, the Georgia offensive lineman transfer. Last but certainly not least, Baylor transfer, and a guy that actually Matt Rule recruited, Joshua Fleeks.
Josh Fleeks reported yesterday and was significantly over his weight, so he was sent home to make his weight. So we'll wait and see how Josh does. So
there you go. significantly overweight? And I asked that this would be a question. Jay's going to be on the show in hour number 2 for Old School later today. And that's a question that like I would like Jay's thoughts on. What is significantly overweight?
For a receiver.
Exactly. For a receiver, what is significantly overweight? Because these are guys that can shed and add pounds in the blink of an eye. Like you want to talk about a high metabolism and the ability to gain muscle.
Their workout regimen.
Oh my gosh, the workout, the nutrition, just all the resources available to them. Now, obviously, Joshua Fleeks was home for a couple months, but like all the resources and the nutrition planning and the helping that's available to them, they sent him home. And this is kind of the conversation we just talked about, where it's like, hey, listen, if you're not going to buy in, whether you're in Lincoln or whether you're in Waco or Dallas, whatever, if you're not going to buy in, then you can't be here when fall camp starts. And this might be a thing where it's like, it might only be 10, 12 pounds, and that'll take 2 days for Josh Fleeks to manage, and he's right back in Lincoln. But it's that idea of you can't be a part of this thing if you're not going to take it seriously.
Number one, it's the principle of the matter,
Yep.
right? A standard's a standard. If you had a weight that you agreed to be at and you're not there, it's black and white, right?
Exactly.
It's cut and dry, plain and simple. My bigger question is sent home.
Yeah.
Why don't you want him? Okay, I get it. He can't like be on the field if he's going to break the standard, but don't you want him in your weight room under your supervision? Hasn't he lost the privilege to, work out on his own because that clearly didn't go well?
And that's what's crazy to me is like how bad is it? How overweight is Joshua Fleeks to where it warranted him sending him home? And obviously it throws in the word significantly, right? Things like that. But so there's that. Just those few players. Joshua Fleeks, quote, significantly overweight for significantly missed weight. Hold on, let me play that clip for the listeners once again, just so we get that correctly. Because I don't want to say the man's like 250 pounds when really he's like 180.
Josh Fleeks reported yesterday and was significantly over his weight, so he was sent home to make his weight. So we'll wait and see.
Significantly over his weight, says Matt Rule, was Josh Fleeks. So Josh Fleeks, Jacob Hood with chronic ankle issues. He was seeing a doctor, which is why he wasn't at Fan Day yesterday. Doctor on a Sunday, which is kind of crazy. But hey, whatever. And then you have Miles Farmer, who's suspended for the time being, indefinitely, if you will. We'll see what happens with him, but he's currently not on the 120-man roster. And then Brody Tagaloa was in a car accident, have surgery on his knee, had a cut on his face. With the knee surgery, he's going to miss the entire 2023 season. So there's the update there. All right, well, that will do it for us here on the Happy Hour. Stricky is almost getting ready to go here. He joined the stream, but he's going to be hopping over to On the Block here in just a few moments. Austin, what's coming up on the show?
Jim Irsay versus Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
It is cutting me deep. So I feel obligated to get. I don't want to, but we'll get into that. Continue that.
Your Colts shirt today.
I am. Yes. Not trying to pick sides.
Okay.
It's just a general. I just want everyone to come together and have a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. How long till the NFL pendulum swings back towards running backs? And of the free agents out there, including Jonathan Taylor, which of those would you like to pay the most on your team? There's a rumor you're coming back for hour 2.
That is true. I will be there at 3:00 for you,
More
Austin.
Husker football then.
I'm joining you tomorrow, the entire show from 2 to 4. So there's going to be a lot of Nick and Austin here from 1 to 4 p.m. slot coming up in the next 48 hours. Stick around On the Block with Austin Strick and then myself at 3:00 coming up next on the ticket.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is to serve the local area, which includes the tri-state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H is a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GA Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist.